Stop me if you've heard this before. The Houston Texans were up 24-0 against the Chiefs, seemingly looked unbeatable, and were marching to an AFC Championship game. Then of course this idiotic play call happened. It's hard to isolate an entire franchise's ineptness in one play, but unfortunately for Texans fans, it's a microcosm of the team's incredible self-inflicted misfortunes. Fast forward to February 12th, 2021. Superstar stalwart J.J. Watt posts on socials that he and the Texans are splitting up. The cherry on top of an already horrific offseason that has had their franchise QB demanding a trade. So why is this team so fucked up? And why do they deserve every bit of ridicule they can handle? Let's take a quick look. It all starts with a man named Bob McNair, a literal power broker who sold his company to Enron and then founded the Texans in 1999 after the Oilers abandoned the city of Houston 3 years prior. While he was alive, things were rough for the Texans. They played 8 years before even making the playoffs, while other expansion teams fared better in their initial launches. I mean, shit, even the Rebrowns made it in their 4th year. Shortly before he passed, Bob uttered the words that might have been the iceberg that struck the starboard side of the Houston Texans ship. In regard to Kaepernick kneeling, McNair stated, "We can't have the inmates running the prison." Something he would apologize for, but what a terrible look. From there, things got really bad, like the part where he dies, which was really bad for him. That led to Cal McNair, his son, taking over. Like most sons of rich, powerful men who grow up without an understanding of how the real world works, because it's difficult to understand the real world when your dad literally owns an NFL franchise, Cal has overseen a comedy of errors we'll get into in a second. To be fair to Cal, his dad installed football's most egocentric, stubborn, and disastrous moron, Bill O'Brien. Credited with turning around Penn State on paper, he wasn't a bad hire, but in real life, he was a modicum of average and always earned himself enough rope to tie his own noose. His first year, they went 9-7. Next year, same, lost 30-0 in the playoffs. So they bring in Brock Osweiler, who actually wins a playoff game, then they get smoked by the Patriots. Somehow, a superstar falls in their lap in the form of Deshaun Watson. They go 4-12, riddled with injuries. So instead of firing Bob, they do the most Texan thing ever, extending him before the 2018 season. They immediately go 11-5 and lose to the Colts in the playoffs, and that 11-win season could have been the worst thing to ever happen to them. Of course, they lose to the Chiefs and do an even more Texans thing, making the stubborn, abrasive, and Homer-esque man their GM. His first move, trade a top 3 receiver for an old hag named David Johnson. Of course, this did not work out. Cal McNair's next move, fire O'Brien after an 0-4 start, something they should have done 3 years ago. Oh, it gets even worse. After reportedly saying they would involve their superstar QB in the process of both hiring a new coach and a GM, the Texans don't do any of that and hire Nick Caserio, a former Patriot employee they tampered with years prior, and David Culley, an inexperienced soundbite machine who was an assistant with John Harbaugh and the Ravens. This enraged Watson, who might be one of the calmest, most composed superstars in the league. He handled losing his star receiver well by going out, shutting his mouth, and doing his job. But still pissed off that Cal McNair nor GM Nick Caserio even bothered to give him a phone call, Watson demanded a trade. Something they still haven't pulled off yet, because the Texans have almost no leverage here and they are possibly going to strong-arm Watson into playing. McNair's extended metaphors don't seem so crazy now, do they? And that leads us to J.J. Watt's formal release, a move that has Steelers fans salivating like a newly released from jail Yinzer in front of a case of Iron City. Negative cap space be damned. So in less than a year, the Texans go from seemingly making a deep playoff run to possibly minus 3 superstars, an idiot in the owner's box, a green management team that seems clueless, and not much hope in sight. A hearty congrats to you, Houston. You took the most inept franchise in the NFL award away from both the Jets and the Lions, and it's all your own stupid fault. Pile on, boys. I'm 5 Points Vids, and this was a quick look. I got a good news, bad news type situation here. The good news is winter is soon to be over and the weather is going to be nicer. The bad news is going to the grocery store still sucks, no matter what the temperature is outside. Oh, what's this? There's a solution for that? Yes, I think we've heard of HelloFresh, the meal delivery service that saves you time, money, and keeps you from leaving your house during a bleeping pandemic. How do they save you money? Well, on average, HelloFresh users are spending 28% less than grocery store shopping. Their meals are also delicious. Look at these frijoles fresca bowls I wonderfully prepared and devoured in seconds. And they're flexible. You are in control of your meals, frequency, extra dinners or lunches, and you can add in extra proteins and even desserts if you feel like treating yourself. So after this video, head on over to HelloFresh.com and use code 10FivePoints to get 10 free meals and free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com, code 10FivePoints, and get 10 free meals across 4 boxes. Easy, convenient, and cost effective. HelloFresh.